Hi guys, it's Katie here again from Creativa, and I'm doing some more in my Broderie SVG mini album today, and I think we might just get straight into it. This is the album that we've been creating, and we have only got 3 pages left to do. So we've done these pages so far. I've got 1, 2, 3 pages left to do, and so I thought I might see how far I get today doing those. So let's put it aside and I shall tell you about the pieces that I've cut out. So for those who may not know, SVG files are scalable vector graphic files, and they can be used in cutting machines. So cutting machines like your Cricut or your Brother Scan and Cut or your Silhouette. And I have designed these files to make a mini album from start to finish. You don't need anything else. Of course you can add anything you like, but you don't need anything else to make the album. It includes the cover, it includes the binding, the pages, flips, pockets, belly bands, all sorts of things, doors, everything's in there. Excuse me. So I've created this little booklet to help me try and explain the bits that are in the SVG files. So there's 30 files in all, and the files include both the actual elements themselves, which I've done in blue, and then the mats for each of the pieces, and they are in pink. And I've given everyone an alphanumeric number, so it's easy for me to refer to and hopefully easy for you to follow along with, and hoping that it all makes sense. Okay, so let's just start. I'll start by saying that the pieces that are in the book in blue, I have cut out of cream coloured cardstock, and I've used this Recollections 65 pound 176 GSM cardstock for all of the pockets and flips and belly bands. And for the paper that I'm matching it with, I'm using this digital collection by Knitwit's Collection, and it's called Always and Forever. And when I purchase a digital paper pack like this, I like to print it all out in the wallet size images, so that I can really easily see what it looks like and which ones I want to print out, and also the ephemera pieces. So in this one there are lots of different pieces of ephemera, and I can just really easily see at a glance which pieces I think might work. So I'll put a link in the description box below for this Knitwit's Collection paper pack, Always and Forever, but they have lots of other ones too that you might be interested in. So I'm using that one to match my mini album with. So I'll just pop that one to the side. And I have also put I will also put a link in the description box to my Etsy store, where you can purchase these as an instant digital download if you're interested. Okay, so let's get on with it. What have I cut out for my first page? I'll grab all my little bits and pieces and we'll walk through what I have cut out. So for every page I always start with cutting out my base page mat, which is C2, and that's this one here. It's already cut out, and I've already inked around the edge, so there's that one. And then I have cut out this pocket here, which I think I'm using as a flip today, and that's D1, and so I've cut that out of the cardstock. And I have also cut out 2 of the D4 mats, which are the mats for this D1. So that's these 2 here. So there's 2 mats, and I've inked around those. Then I have cut out of this file, which I've called Bits and Pieces, I've cut out this little tiny little fella here, which is J2, which is this one here, and I've inked around the edge of that one. So I've got one of those, and I've cut out 2 of the mats for that one as well, which is J15, so I've got 2 of those. Oh, and I forgot, let's just go back for a second to these pockets. I've cut out this one here, which is G4, which is this little lacy edge pocket here, and I have inked up around there. And then I have cut out the mat for that, which is G7, which is this one here, and that's been inked as well. And then finally, I have cut one of these frames, K2. Now it comes as a circle, but so I use a Cricut, and in Design Space I can alter the size and shape of that. So what I've actually done is kind of squished it up a little bit so it's more of an oval shape than a round shape. And I've actually cut out 2 of these K2s and sandwiched them together just to make it a little bit thicker. Then I gave it a little bit of a paint with this Deco Art Dazzling Metallics in Champagne Gold. Just love this colour, it's gorgeous. And then I went around the edges with a brown Posca pen, which I'm just going to find for you. I went around the edges with this Posca paint pen around the edges, and then I just kind of feathered it in with a wet paintbrush as I went, just to so it didn't have a really sharp line, so that it looked a little bit aged and distressed. And then once that had dried, I gave the whole thing a coat with clear embossing powder, well, a couple of coats with clear embossing powder, just to give it that extra bit of bling. I think it looks fabulous. So that's K2. I cut out 2 of those. I squished it in my Cricut Design Space to make it more oval than round, and that's that one. Now at the same time that I squished this one to make it more oval and round, I did the same thing with the mats for that, which is K4. And then I cut out 2 mats. I cut out one in transparency. I don't know if you can tell that that's a transparency, but there is one that I've cut out in transparency. And then I have also cut out one here just in the scrapbook paper, and I've just distressed around the edges. So that's what I'm going to use for my first page today. So let's just put that to the side, and I'll just get out my clear protector so that I don't get glue everywhere. And I'll just put all of that to the side for a moment, and I will bring back this piece here, D1. So the pieces themselves come with lots of tabs on them so that you can use it as a pocket if you like, but in this instance I want to use it as a flip. So I've only inked up this edge, which is going to be my edge that I flip on, and I'm going to cut off these 2 tabs, and I don't know if you can see, but I've put little crosses on there just to remind myself that those are the pieces that I'm cutting off. So I'll just get out my cutting board and line it up. So on my Cricut has already done the score line for me, so I don't have to do any scoring in this mini album. It's all done using my Cricut. So I'm just going to line it up on that score line and then just trim that tab off. So that's what makes these SVG files versatile, is that the pieces themselves can be made into more than just one thing. Right, so now I'm just going to ink up the edge of that where I've just trimmed it off, and I'm using Tim Holtz Distress ink in Vintage Photo. You don't have to ink it up, but I like it like this, so that's what I'm going to do. I don't tend to ink up fold those tabs and ink them up if I know I'm going to cut them off, because I think you get a nice and much sharper cut if you don't fold those beforehand. That's just my preference though. Okay, now I can just bring back my album and pop that in. I'm just going to use my bone folder and burnish that down a little bit, make sure it's super sharp and crisp. So it's hot here again today. They forecast 37 degrees Celsius, which is stinking in my book. perfect day to stay inside and craft. Okay, so here's my plan. I'm just going to pop this little guy on the edge, and then I have this flip that comes out like this with a nice big space if I need it. So I grab my glue. I am using Helmar's fabric glue, and I'm getting to the bottom of this bottle, but I'm determined to use it all. So I like using fabric glue because it doesn't make my paper or my cardstock buckle. But you use whatever you like, and you might prefer to use tape, so double-sided tape, so you can just pop that down on your little tab and off you go. The tape and I don't get along very well. I have used it in this album. I used it on the cover and a little bit for putting in the pages, but otherwise I just like to use glue. So I'm just burnishing along that tab there, make sure it's well stuck. And there we go. So what was a pocket is easily a flip, like so. Now I also would like to use this teensy little J2 piece as a little tab here to sort of prevent my page from flipping in and out. So I'm going to pop that one on. Now I think I can figure out where the center is without measuring, because I know that there's scallops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 7 scallops, so halfway through my 4th one is about the center of my page, roughly. So I'm just going to pop a little bit of glue on this little tab here. Actually, before I do that, I'm thinking that I might put quick change plan. Before I do that, I'm going to pop the mats on here, and then I think I might put a little eyelet through it as a little catch. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So let's hope it works. So I'm just going to pop that mat on there and flip it over and put one on the back as well. This little piece here is the J15 mat. It goes on there like so. And then, if I just have a little look, see how it fits on there, I'm going to put an eyelet right about here, I think. So I like to use my leather punch to put holes in things. I do have crocodile and I'm about to get it out, but I just like this chap. So I like it too, because you've got all these different size holes that you can make. I'm going to go with this one and stick a hole in there, and then I'm going to get out my crocodile, which I think one of the reasons I don't use it is because I do use it, but I'm not very good at it. But that's okay, we will persevere. So I have these eyelets, and they were actually silver, but I wanted to use gold in this album, and I never use gold, but hey, something different. And I think actually I need to make a bigger hole. To do that, oops, dropping bits everywhere. I just, really, it's dropping bits everywhere. I just used a bit of metallic gold alcohol ink and dropped the little eyelets in there to make them gold, and I really like them. I think they look good. So I've just spun it around to a bigger hole setting size so I can hopefully get my eyelet in here. And I'm just trying to get it to cut through there. There we go. Right, so I'm going to pop my eyelet in both sides. And now I'm going to make a real mess of it. I think it should go the other way. Oh, that'll be fine. Okay, and then I'm going to put it on my crocodile and squeeze it. Oops, I always manage to lock it at the same time as well. And then I'm going to squeeze it the other way because that has made quite the mess. But that's okay. Alright, so it looks good from this side, but this side's a bit mangled. But that's okay because my plan is to put a little bit of seam binding in there. So hopefully that'll cover that mangled bit up. You can only hope. Alright, so now I'm going to attach it. So let's get some glue. You know, I do plan these things out, but sometimes you just wouldn't know it because I sort of feel like I've bumbled through a little bit, even though I have planned what I want to do. Okay, so it looks like such, which is pretty cool, I think. Alright, so then I'm just going to squash that down nicely. Whoop. Okay. Happy with that. Then I'm going to use a little magnet on this side. So I have these basic grey magnets. Oops. And I'm just going to put my magnet on top of my eyelet, my mangled eyelet, and then pull the tape off, the little tape bit that comes on these. And when I'm happy with it, I'm just going to fold it over and squash it down. I feel like it moved. I wonder if I can pick it up and move it still. How's that? That's better. That's better? Yeah. Alright, so I'm going to squash that down nice and flat. And then I can just put my mat straight over the top of that. So let's grab my mat for that page. So this is the D4 mat and it's going on my D1 flip. So I've already inked it. And I'm just going to cover that in some glue and pop it on here. Have I got that right? I think so. And I'm just going to line it up where I'm happy with it, making sure that it covers my magnet and squash it down. I mean, carefully press it down. Okay, so there's our little catch. And if I just nip over to this little piece here, this is my little G4 pocket and I have already inked around the edge. And I have also cut out the mat for that, which is G7. So I'm just going to pop that straight on top like that right now with some glue. If it will come out. Excuse me, I haven't spoken much yet this morning. Okay. So straight onto that little guy, and then I can attach this onto my page. And where would I like to put it? Maybe I'll put it in the corner or in the middle. No, I might stick it in the corner. I think that's cute. Alright, let's do that. So some glue on those tabs. And this one. And then I'm just going to find where I would like it to sit. Like so. Yeah, press it down firmly and burnish it to make sure she sticks in there. That's cute. I'm glad I went with that little corner. I think that was good. So that's the front done. Easy peasy. Let's have a look at, well, let's just put this, the mat on the inside here as well. So again, I've already cut it out and inked it, and all I need to do is just glue it on. So let's do that. It's just so easy working with these files because, you know, I don't need to do any scoring. The only cutting I need to do is really just cutting tabs off, and the only measuring I do is just if I want to find the middle of something. If I'm not fussed about that so much, then I wouldn't have to do any measuring at all, because the pieces have already been sized perfectly so that they all fit together. And so you don't need a cutting guide or anything. And there's so many different things that you can do with each of the pieces, which I think just makes it fabulous. So there we go. All right, now the inside, we have the mat for the inside, and I think I can just go ahead and put that one down now. There's something stuck in the corner here. That's annoying me. No, I can't get it. All right, let's just pretend it's not there. So this is my C2 base page mat, and I'm just going to pop it down. And the paper is not directional, so I can just put it any way I like and stick it down like so. Right, so now I might just pop that aside while we work on the last bit we've got here, which is the frame. Just get rid of all that stuff that came out of my punch. So it's going to be really difficult for you to see this transparency, but there is a transparency here. And all I'm going to do is attach it to the back of my frame using a bit of glue. That's my first plan. So let's do that. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue around the edges here. Oh. Just around the edge, like so. And then my transparency on top. Just have to figure out how it goes so it fits. I think that is stuck down all the way. So then I'm just going to really carefully run my finger around here, trying not to get glue on everything. Right. So now we have a transparency which is filthy on our frame, and I've got glue here despite my best intentions. I still managed to get glue there. Okay, great. And now it's got fingerprints on it too. Fabulous. Right, so now I'll just bring my album back. So what I would like to do is I'm going to put this down underneath, and I'm going to stick that straight onto my base mat, and then I want to pop up my frame a little bit and have it over the top, but I'm going to leave the top open so you can slide a picture in there. Or maybe I should leave the side open. It might be easier if I left the side open. No, I'll leave the top, but so I can really only attach it along the bottom half because it needs to be able to be squished in there. So let's just make sure that we're happy with the placement of where it is going to go. And to my mind, or to my eye, from where I am, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to lift this bit off, and with my pencil I'm just going to mark where my frame goes, or where my mat for the frame goes, so that I can put it back on there nice and easily. And I can't see that hardly at all. Alright, so now I'm just going to attach this straight on top of the base page mat, just so it looks a little bit different under there. So when you don't have a photo in there, if you were to give it as a gift or something like that, it wouldn't look blank. So that looks like the bottom, and that looks like the side. So that looks about right. Perfect. Maybe up a squidge. There we go. Now I just need to attach the frame. Now, of course, I was going to use some little pop dots, which I forgot to pick up. So just 1 second while I find those. Okay, I'm back. Did you miss me? I cut all that bit out where I was messing around trying to find them. So these are little square pop-up sort of foamy, sticky adhesive things. Technical lingo, of course. So let's just pop that to the side again while we attach some dots here. Now I want to attach them just on this little inside bit down the bottom. So from here to here on those inside bits. Now I don't know if these are too big for that. Let's pick one up and have a look. Well, it will make it quite difficult to slide anything in there, so we possibly need to give them a little trim. So these tiny little squares I'm going to cut in half again, even more, and then pop it on here like so. And I'm going to do that all the way around the bottom half so that you can't see them from the front, but it just pops it up a little bit. Okay. And another 3. So I've still got band-aids all over my fingers from trying to take the top of my finger off with a knife, and then doing something out in the garden, and I thought I could do it without gardening gloves, and not so much, because I gave myself a big blister, and it doesn't look pretty. Oops. And that one there, I lost the tape off that now. So that's good. Alright, so I'll pop those to the side, and then I shall try and get the rest of the tape off the top of these. Oh. And this one. So these are the frames that I've included in the Broderie SVG files, and I was saying that I sort of changed the shape a little bit in the Cricut design space. And it's also worth mentioning that although this album that I'm making now is the cover is 7 inches by 7 inches, and the pages are just a little bit bigger than 6 inches by 6 inches. It means that I can, let me show you. Well, this base page here I could cut out of 6 inch by 6 inch paper, so I could use a 6 inch by 6 inch paper pad to mat this whole album, all the little bits and pieces. And so I think that's great because I have lots of 6 inch by 6 inch paper pads, and now I can make something quite useful out of them. But the other thing about SVG files is that they are scalable, which means that, I'm just going to see if I can find something to wipe this off. It means that you can scale all the pieces up to make an album which is much bigger, so that you could make, you know, a 10 inch by 10 inch album. So I think that's also really fabulous. Okay, now I'm just going to try and line this up and pop it down like so, and press it down. There, look at that, so pretty. So we can still slide something in here. There's plenty of opportunity to slide things in there. Let's see. Let's imagine that I had an oval shaped picture, and I can just slide it in the top, but it still will be held quite nicely by the frame. So I think that looks fantastic. So that's one page done. And we'll just close it up and it will get held in there nicely. Okay, well, I think maybe we should do the next two pages in the next video. But I hope that you enjoyed this video and that you'll follow along with the series and watch as we finish making this album. We still have 2 more pages to go, and then the covers and embellishing and putting in some inserts and tags, but I think it's looking fantastic. So thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you again soon, and thanks. Bye for now. Bye.